All right, today we are diving into a really big shift in education. We're talking about the journey from seeing families as just helpers to seeing them as absolutely essential partners in a child's learning.
And this is the central question, isn't it? It seems so simple, but the difference between those two words, helper and partner, is huge. It's really at the heart of a revolution that's been happening in early education. So what does it actually take to make that leap?
Okay, this slide breaks it down perfectly. On the left, you've got involvement. That's the old way of thinking, right? Things like chaperoning a field trip or baking for a bake sale. It's great, but it's teacher-led. It's a one-way street. But over on the right, you have engagement, and that is a whole different ballgame. We're talking about a real two-way partnership with shared decisions, where families are respected as the true experts on their own kids.
Now, to really get why this move toward engagement is so important, we have to look back at where this all came from. For a long time, the model was built on good intentions for sure, but it was pretty limited by this kind of top-down way of thinking.
And here's a crucial term to understand: deficit models. For decades, a lot of programs, without even realizing it, basically operated from the idea that some families were lacking something. Maybe they lacked resources or didn't know the right way to parent. The school's job then was to fill that gap, to correct families, not to team up with them.
So that deficit model naturally leads to this idea of intervention. Think about the word itself. It means you're interrupting something to fix it. So even programs that meant well were designed to intervene in a child's life, which automatically made the family a passive bystander instead of an active player in the game.
This timeline shows how things slowly started to shift, at least on a policy level. You see these big laws, like the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, which was a landmark because it gave parents a real legal voice for the first time. The pieces were starting to get put in place. But here's the catch. Even though these laws required parent involvement on paper, the mindset on the ground was often still stuck in that older, deficit-based thinking.
And then, the game completely changed. And you know why? The research. A huge wave of incredible studies came out that gave undeniable proof that deep, authentic family engagement, a true partnership, was one of the most powerful things you could do for a child's success.
First up was the game-changing Hart and Risley study. What it found was just staggering. It showed that the number of words a kid hears in just regular, everyday conversations at home directly predicts their vocabulary and how well they'll do in school later on. This was a bombshell. It proved that the learning environment at home is an absolutely critical foundation. Building on that, you had research from the Head Start program, which showed that the benefits went way beyond just the one child. When families were truly engaged, there were these amazing spillover effects. Younger siblings started doing better in school, and parents themselves often gained new skills and confidence. It proved that when you engage a family, you strengthen the whole unit. Then the evidence for the long-term impact became just undeniable with the Perry Preschool Project. This study followed people for decades, and the results were incredible. Combining great preschool with home visits that really engaged parents led to dramatically better lives. We're talking higher graduation rates, better jobs, even lower crime rates, all traced back to that early partnership.
And finally, the Carolina Abecedarian Project just drove the point home. It found that the biggest, most lasting gains happened when families were treated as true co-educators, learning and teaching right there alongside the professionals. That was the secret sauce for making the positive effects stick for the long run.
So with all this powerful research on the table, the conversation totally shifted. It went from why should we engage families to, okay, how do we do it right? And this led to a modern blueprint where real engagement isn't just a nice idea, it's actually designed right into the system.
And you can see that blueprint in action right here. Today's laws and standards flat out mandate partnership. Head Start requires families to be part of the educational team. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDA, gives parents of kids with disabilities a legally protected role in setting goals. It's not optional anymore. It's the standard of quality.
And this diagram just illustrates the whole engine perfectly. Look over on the left, that's the input: strong parenting, open communication with the school, and families taking ownership. Now, just follow the arrows to the right and you see the results: higher reading scores, better language skills, more motivated kids, better behavior. It's a crystal clear, direct connection.
This quote from the National Association for the Education of Young Children, the NAEYC, it just sums it all up, doesn't it? It's the consensus now. Respectful, trusting partnerships aren't just a nice little feature.
They are the foundation that a child's best learning is built on. Period.
But this modern way of thinking doesn't just stop at the classroom door. The most effective models get that strong families are supported by strong communities, and they actually go out and build those bridges on purpose.
So how does this whole community effect work? Well, as this slide lays out, it kicks off when schools partner up with local organizations. Together, they build this support network that offers resources to help the whole family, things like parenting classes, health services, even job training. By making the family stronger and more stable overall, they create an environment that directly boosts a child's ability to walk into that classroom ready to learn. It's a totally holistic approach.
So, we've walked through this whole journey, from seeing families as simple helpers to recognizing them as essential partners. And the ultimate goal here, as we've seen, is about sharing power in a child's education. So that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What's one small step your own school or community could take to make that a reality? What could a true partnership look like right where you live?